that can be crazy, loud, overwhelming, and often painful. Our church, this group, wants you to know that we are glad that you are here, right now. This is what we've all been waiting for. Get ready, because we start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My good people, welcome in to another episode of STYGIES Live. As always, I'm your youth minister and host, Ben Hansen. I'm coming to you live from the Shawnee Trail youth room. It's pretty empty in here. It's just me and then some rows of chairs. That's about it. But I'm still here, and I'm happy to see you today. And I'm glad that you've tuned in wherever you are. And I hope that this time that we get to spend together is a blessing to you and a blessing to your life. Now, I know that this is like a very weird time. We've talked about that last week. It still is a very weird time. But I hope that you're adjusting, making some good habits, and kind of starting to learn how to live a good life during this pandemic time. While we're doing that, though, here are some things that as a youth group we're doing to combat all of those things. Wait. Hold on a second. No, we are still meeting together. We are having fun. We're not closed. Come hang out with us every single day on Zoom. We're playing games Monday to Friday, every single day, 3:45 with the middle school and 4:15 with the high school. We go, we play hard, we have a great time. So no, things aren't closed. You don't have to play games by yourself in an empty room. No, come on. So we're doing daily, every day, Monday to Friday at 3:45 for junior high and 4:15 for high school. We're doing games together. And after we play whatever little game we have, I'll give you time in breakout rooms just to hang out to chat on video chat on Zoom. So if you'd like to be a part of that, text me and I will get you the information on how to log into those Zoom accounts. Cool. So that's a good time. Also, we're doing a daily Bible reading in the Bible app. So get on that. Be a part of that, join that. And with that, every single night at 7 on our Instagram page, Addie Parker has been taking us live with co-host every single night to go over what we read in the Bible study for that week. So it's a super good time. You need to get involved with that because it's just awesome. I've really enjoyed that. And I actually missed one of those times a week and a half ago. And so I've actually set alarms on my phone for that day for 3:40 and for 6:59 so that I don't miss whenever we're going live with those things. So you should do that too. Set alarms so you remember. Come join us. Come hang out. It's a good time. So with today, I'd like to move on now into looking at the best things that I saw today and the ways that I've seen God throughout this week. So let's head over to Twitter. First off, man, our pets. Oof. They've been through a lot. I'm sure some of your dogs are excited you're home. Your cats are probably not excited that you're home. But man, this poor dog right here. I mean, who knew this was possible?
You would not believe your eyes. You would not believe your eyes. You would not believe your eyes.
I mean, that right there in itself is just incredible. I mean, look at this. This dog, homeboy, gets all the way up here in the air. Just, oh, look at him. Just ready to take on the world. That's incredible. I'm so happy this. Next up, we got some great motivation here for our week. There's a silly goose in all of us. Please, during this time of great panic and staying at home, spread your wings and fly. Personally, I'm inspired. That's what I'm going to live by this week. I want to be a silly goose. Also, we've had our nice little Zoom meetings here, and the poor girl, she turned herself into a potato. A potato. And she can't figure out how to turn herself back, so she just has to be a potato the whole meeting. It makes me so happy. Also, here's this bear. Sees the cone, smells the cone, bites the cone. No, thank you. We enjoy safety. That's what you like to see. What a very good bear. Another great thing I saw this week. This 81-year-old grandpa can't go hug his granddaughter. Can't be a good grandpa. No, wait, he can be a good grandpa by having a dance battle with her every single morning this week. Look at your boy. Hit him. Oh, don't fall. Oh, yep. Right there. And then pass it back over. No, he's still going. Oh, there it is. All right. Just cool. That's cool stuff right there. That's cool stuff. Humanity being cool here. Another cool thing I saw this week, we had this guy that reached out to some of his neighbors and said, hey, I'm really struggling with being lonely. And so they all said, all right, cool. I'll see you at lunch. So they all had lunch together while social distancing. That's pretty cool. Then the last thing I saw this week that was cool was this nurse getting off her shift and everyone outside clapping for her, cheering her on. It just brought her to tears. This is just people being good, people being good-hearted. It's what you like to see. And that's all good stuff that's happening this week. Some cool ways of God's at work. Some cool things that people are doing to make community, even when community normally isn't happening. But it's awesome to see. So today I want to talk to you for just a little bit about boundaries. Boundaries are very, very, very important. I think we know that. We don't always act like we know that, but I think we do know that. But to reiterate that point that boundaries are important, let's talk about the pool. Yes, a public swimming pool. So like your neighborhood pool. I know some of you have pools in your backyard. I'm sure that's fun to have right now. Personally, I live in an apartment, so we have a big community pool that's shut down now. But in the summer, it'll probably be open up. And in those pools, the pool's just, it's a magical place. What can I tell you? It's a great place to go listen to music, to read, to play sharks and minnows, to peg people with splash balls. The pool is just a very, very fun place to be. And now I'm really just, I'm wishing summer was here, but I digress. The thing about pools, though, is that whatever water is in that pool eventually kind of spreads and mixes throughout the rest of the pool so that all of the pool is the same pool water, right? So, for example, if you had to use the restroom and you're at your public pool, do you go and use the restroom in the restroom only area of your pool? No, bro, no. Oh, no, that's gross. Of course not. Of course you wouldn't. Because, I mean, this would happen. Yeah, I mean, no one wants that. No, there's not a use the restroom here part of your pool. Why? Because if there was, just because you put a little rope up doesn't mean that the rest of whatever you're doing is going to be all over the rest of the pool. Of course, it'll spread everywhere in the pool. Even if you use the bathroom only in the shallow end, it'll spread to the deep end and like the whole pool. It's all going to have it, right? So, boundaries. So if you need to go to the restroom and you're at the public pool, you go use the restroom, Or, I'm from Mississippi, so it's like, hey, go that tree back there in the woods, you know what I'm saying? We don't use the bathroom in the pool because if you use the bathroom in the pool, it spreads throughout all of the place because that's just how a pool is. Those boundaries are set up so that whatever happens doesn't spread throughout the entire pool. And this is the effect that sin has on our lives, right? We think we can keep it contained. We think, I've kept it secret. No one else knows, or the person that it would affect doesn't know. They won't be hurt, or whatever other lies we tell ourselves about our sin, we think we can keep them contained in one little section of our pool, and that's just like the sin box, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, that's just not how this works. Those boundaries, they get broken, and sin, it spreads throughout our entire lives. It affects everything that we do when we sin. And so this week, this Sunday, I think now is a really good time, kind of as we're starting to get used to what life in quarantine is like, to just stop, to pause, and just take a look at what your normal day-to-day routine looks like. So when do you wake up? When do you go to sleep? When do you eat? What do you eat? Are you exercising? How well are you doing with your schoolwork? What other hobbies are you pursuing? Have you caught up with the youth group daily Bible study plan? Are you reaching out to friends that bring you life and do good things for you and help you honor Jesus' name? Like what type of habits have you created so far during this 3 weeks of quarantine? Because as we know now, this is going to be at least the month of April. Like we're in this. We're going to be in this for a while. And so now is a great time to pause and just look at the habits that we have in our lives and focus on making good ones so we can live a good life, a life that's worthy, and a life that doesn't just waste the days that God has given us today, right? So for me this week, this is what that looked like. I decided to do this little thing, a mile run, 25 push-ups, 30 dips, jump squats, 35 of them, and then a minute plank, and another mile run. And it, went about like this.
It's cold. Very cold. I'm tired. I'm day 3.
Day 4. Check. Yeah, honestly, it's a good thing for me. And I reached out and I have some friends that are doing it with me. We got 5 guys from church doing it. I got 5 of my college friends doing it. I got like 4 people on Instagram who are like, hey, I'm not working out either. I need help. I'm in. So we're all keeping each other accountable and doing these workouts literally every single day. That same thing. And it's brutal and it's a beating. But you know what? I kind of love it. And it's good for me. It's getting my body moving, getting me going again, all that good stuff. And that's just one of the structures that I've kind of put into my daily routine. Now, actually, as I was sitting at the building on Saturday, kind of working on this lesson, getting some things together, Johnny Voss walked in. Old Johnny V goes to church here. And we started talking for a bit. And he said, hey, man, listen, every single day I wake up, 7 days a week, every single day of the whole year, I start every day by waking up earlier than everything else starts and just doing a little Bible study and prayer time with my wife. That's how I start every single day. Now, that right there is some dedication, but also that's some pretty wise living. So I started talking to Johnny V about this, and he's like, it used to be like I'd forget sometimes, or sometimes I just didn't really feel like it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But, me and my wife would say, all right, we got to keep doing this. So we keep doing it. And now it's to the point where Johnny V said, I don't even think about not doing it. In fact, if I can't do it for some reason, my whole day's off. I can tell I haven't put my heart in a good place to live the day. And so the day's just going all whack. It's all messed up. It's all wrong. And I think that was a really good conversation I had with him, just to talk about what kind of habits are we creating for our days. We have this time. We've been given this gift of today. So what are we going to make of it? It's a very weird time, and the structure that we had of waking up and getting ready for school and going to school and then extracurriculars and I'm at home and then family time and then all of those structures are gone. So life right now is kind of like a free-for-all, right? So it's time for us to build some good routines into our life, create some good habits so that we know that we're honoring God with the way that we live. Now, some tips and some advice to creating good routines. First off, as you stop and just think about the things that you've typically done during these days. Maybe just look at Saturday. What did you do on Saturday? What did the day look like from start to end? Or maybe even look at Friday when it was the day when you had schoolwork. How much time did you spend doing this and this and this and this? Just think of what your routine looked like for that day. And the first thing we need to do as we do that exercise, though, is to give yourself a little grace, okay? You can look back at that and say, oh, well, I wasted time. I should have done that. I should have done this, and I did this. And, okay, pause. I get it. You're not perfect. Okay, I understand. None of us are perfect. None of us are trying to live this perfect life in that sense, okay? But give yourself some grace. Stop and say, okay, am I honoring God in the way I do this? Am I honoring God in the way I do this? And if not, then what can I change to live a better life, to live a worthy life, a righteous life, a life that's worth living? So pause for a minute and just kind of think about what a typical day looks like for you right now. And now we're going to start to think about some ways that we can start to build some good habits and routine into our days so that as this quarantine, social distancing time continues, we can live a good life together. So first off, 2 things that I've built into my day every single day, Monday to Friday, is, like I said earlier, our Zoom hangouts. We get on, we play some games. It's a good time. I get community. I get to see people. Then Instagram Live at 7. Those 2 things are great for me, and I made sure that those 2 parts of my day are a part of my day. I stop in the middle of the day, I pause and remember to have fun, and then at 7 o'clock, I'm like, oh, have I read my Devo? I got to go read my Devo. So I go read my Devo, and then I go and I hop on Instagram Live. So those are 2 things that are already set up that would be great for you to go ahead and make a part of your daily routine. Because the truth is, now more than ever, we need to be putting good structure into our lives. And part of putting good structure into our lives is going to be taking away some of that bad structure that some of us have fallen into. So if you've fallen into bad habits or started playing video games that you know you shouldn't be playing, or gone onto websites you know you shouldn't be on, or fallen into some TikTok accounts that you know you should not be following, or the same thing on Instagram, now's the time to stop, to pause and say, hey, that's not going to be a part of my life. I don't want this sin that's going to spread throughout everything that I do, everything that I am, and that's just not a life that I want to live. And some of you really have struggled with having all this time on your hands and internet access at your hands and not really sure what to do with that. And my advice to you, if you're struggling, anytime you're alone and on your phone, just don't be alone and on your phone. Normally you're in your room and you're on your phone and you're like, I'll always end up in a bad account, or I'll always end up in a bad place. Just don't. Just go sit on your couch in your living room, right? Or just don't bring your phone into your room. Things like that are really good and go a long way in helping kind of get those bad things out of your life so that you can replace them with good things. Because that's part of it. Taking these bad things out of your life is part one, but putting the better things in their place is how you really get to live a good life. Set up those boundaries to keep your heart safe from sin that really just spreads throughout our lives and just affects things. Now, part of what was on this week's Devo, I think it was Wednesday, it was the Devo is called Letting Love In, which I thought was going to be like super girly. Actually, it's just been really, really good. It hasn't been like girl specific or anything. It's just been, in general, good stuff about how to live a good life and kind of let love enter in and take those bad things out. And every day it focuses on this one lie. And on Wednesday, it talked about the lie of fantasy. It's talking about something in the future that's just going to be good. I'm just going to love. It's going to be great. And it kind of all falls into this little equation. It's when blank finally happens, or when I finally get blank, then my life will be great. Then I'll really love who I am. Then I'll have so much peace. Then finally I can be happy. And that is just a lie. It's just not true. And that lie takes away things from us that are ours, that are good, that are gifts from God, that are promised to us. That lie, that when this happens, then my life will finally be better. That lie steals away the day that we get today. Because the future is not promised. So when we start to think about the future as something that's going to be great, going to be perfect, all these things, the future is not promised. But what we do have is today. And so what we can do is learn how to live a good life today. And that lie will take today away from us if we let it, but we want today because, as I said on the Instagram Live, each day is a gift. That's why we call it the present. The present, like birthday present, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's good stuff. I should have put some bars in this. I could get my flow going. Anyway, so this what if game that we play with ourselves, it's just not a good game. It doesn't help us in the long run. It doesn't help us in the short term. Because all we have is today. That's it. So we need to learn how to live a good today. And during this now extended time that's going to be really weird, it's so important that we set up good boundaries so that we don't just let sin and wasting time just completely take over our lives, that we can still live good lives and continue to look for ways that God is doing good things among us. In today's Bible study, we're going to actually look at Philippians chapter 4 as part of that. This is good stuff. This is a letter that Paul wrote actually while he was in prison. So, I'm not going to say that the life that we're living right now is just like being in jail, but not being able to go anywhere, just having to stay in the same place while you feel like life around you is constantly happening, all these things happening to us. And Paul's in jail because he preached about Jesus. Like, he literally did nothing that was wrong. But now he ends up in this situation. And this is the advice that he gives the church at Philippi during this time, starting in verse 11. Now, not that I'm speaking of being in need, for I've learned in whatever situation I'm in to just be content, to just be happy with what I have, because I know how to be brought low and I know how to abound. I know what it's like to be in a bad place, and I know what it's like to be in a great place. In any and every circumstance, I've learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. It's Christ. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's the promise that Paul finds in his life. And that's what God is offering us today. No matter what our circumstances, no matter what the situation is, while we're now in quarantine, whenever we get out of quarantine, whenever we move off somewhere different, whenever we start, all of those things, this is a secret of facing that. It's Christ. It's Jesus. Having Jesus in your life lets you be content, lets you be happy, no matter what the situation is. Because with Jesus, I can do all things through Jesus who gives me strength. That was Paul's secret to finding content in the middle of a time that he did not want to be in. And that's the same thing that we can have today. So this was the verse that we looked at on Wednesday with our Bible study. And Maya actually commented on the Bible app, and she said this: we need to stop thinking about the wonderful things to come in the future so that we don't miss out on the wonderful things God is showing us right now. And Maya, that's a great point. It's good stuff. If we start thinking about the future, then we're not thinking about the present. If we're not thinking about the present, then, well, we're missing out on the gifts that God gives us of today. And we're definitely not learning how to be content. And we're not living with that secret of having Jesus who can do anything in our lives. Because at the end of the day, we have to focus on the end goal. There will be an end to all this, and it's going to be such a blast getting together again. But in the meantime, let's live a good life. Don't miss what God is doing right now, because God is still the same. He will always be the same. He's still the God that we know and we love, and he's doing incredible things all around us. We just have to open up our eyes to see. So this week, pause, take a look around at the boundaries that you've set up in place, or the lack of boundaries that you have. Get into a routine. Find a good sleep schedule. Find a good eat schedule. Find a good workout schedule. But most of all, join us in what we're doing with the youth group. But make sure you're spending time praying and reading the Bible every single day, because that is a routine to find success, because that's the routine to learn how to live with Christ who strengthens all of us. I love you guys so much. I cannot wait to see you again. But until then, y'all be good.